rap trying to rip. Trying to rip. Watching MCs that be trying to rip. Watching MCs that be trying to rip. Watching MCs that be trying to rip. Trying to rip. Watching MCs that be trying to rip. Watching MCs that be trying to rip. Watching MCs that be trying to rip. Trying to rip. Watching MCs that be 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 trying to rip. Trying to rip. Watching rims. Freeze that rap be trying to rip.
Yeah, American and European, national champion. Cool Keith, you know who I am, the master man. Willie Biggs, big status. Dropping 9, 6, and 7, big status. Skill, lotto winners. I taught New York City, the 5 boroughs how to rap. You can take that back and pull them thongs out your rectum crack. I'm Papa Large, Big Daddy, big penis in the caddy, retro petrol. I run that whole metro. Metropolitan area, burning you, the style is scaring you. You don't know when half of y'all brothers can't flow. I'm Texas Swift, down south they call me Frankie Joe. Keep pushing rigs, Mac trucks, drop off your girl's wigs. I'm strictly business, no gimmicks, a rhyming expert. No common style, a whack logo, cheap hip-hop shirt. You best to be prepared, paper clips on your mouth. I rock Virginia, tag Atlanta, 95 South. Then hit Miami, let the girls feel my stiff jammy. I'm national kid, girls like the way I dress. I'm still the best, east to west. Joe Kingpin, big stack, money, Willie your whole group is Freddy's dead. Rap style, peace stain, like yellow spots on your bed. I'm Jake Loom, on the street, still walking doo-doo. You can't stop me, step off, now let your girl jock me. I ride in butts and tails just like a Kawasaki. Motorcycles whipped with gloves, I'm here to damage your political style flop. Your child player's amateur. You'll take that word, I rip your anus, use a herb. I get in rectum, zoom, focus on your whole room. Wear green capes and walk in clubs like I'm Dr. Doom. Hand block, double switch, monkey style, flying horseman. Crab leg walk on top of rappers, then I crossman. I'll be the silver surfer glide with a fly leather. With gold chains, my glasses fog in the rainy weather. We do this like Brutus, I make you say, who this? The man on the mic, right? Cover your styles tonight. I do my duty, destruct, take skin off your booty. Masquerade man is ill, keep spinning real to real.
Who played the number tonight? I put 6 on a 5, should've combinated. Go ahead, baby.
I'm still the best, I'm still the best, east to west. Joe Kingpin, big stack, money, Willie Biggs. I'm still the best, I'm still the best, east to west. Joe Kingpin, big stack, money, Willie Biggs. I'm still the best, I'm still the best, east to west. Joe Kingpin, big stack, money, Willie Biggs. I'm still the best, I'm still the best, east to west. Joe Kingpin, big stack, money, Willie Biggs.
Big Willie, Big Willie, ooh, Big Willie, hey, hey, hey. Big Willie, Big Willie, Big Willie.
You're not competition, no joke, I know you kin folks. That sloppy Gotti style's just a bowl of Weedos.
What up, what up, what up? Sound check, 1 2, 1 2, 1 2. Yep, I think we're good. We're live, ready to go. Let's go. Monday style, my niggas. Okay. Here we are, welcome. Let me adjust my camera real quick. Doesn't look very good. All right. All right. It's always weird to know how to start these because when I start, nobody's watching, and it's like I'm just sitting here in my room talking to nobody. So it's freaking weird, man. But such is the nature of streaming. Welcome to Level Up the Coding Show. My name is Dean Greer, and I'm an online technology trainer, really an online coding teacher, and I do this show to serve you, the public, to educate you guys, have some conversation, have some fun, do some code, and spread my passion for this beautiful genre. You know, I'm a kind of a technology lifer. I've been a systems administrator, I've been desktop support, Of course, I've done coding projects, and I've taught coding for the last 4 years, and this is kind of the next generation of what I'm doing. I'm streaming for y'all, and trying to spread the love and meet some people, build a network, and build my skills as a presenter, and I'm not really sure what else, just building towards being better. Yeah. Better coder too, because I'm going to learn from you guys, definitely, and I'll teach you, and you'll learn from me, and I'll learn from you, and that's enough about that. Today's focus is going to be Java. As you can see, this is the Java episode. We're going to do all things Java in this episode. There's going to be no Python, actually. I use Python probably most often in my coding, but today it's all Java. I'm going to school you on some Java history, give you some really basic structural Java stuff, and then I'm going to do an exercise or two, of course, in Java. Yeah. So let's dive into the Java history and bits. I've got a little presentation for you, and I know you're going to love it. So let me pull that shit up right here. Yeah, Java is it's a neat little language. It's really it's one of the first languages I learned. I can't even remember which one I learned first. It's like Java, C, and assembly. I kind of was dabbling in all three of those at the same time around 2000. So like, you know, nearly 26 years ago. Doesn't seem like it was that long ago, but it was, obviously. I don't really need to have the level up logo right there. Doesn't matter. You don't even need to see me either, right? You can hear me. You can see the stuff on the screen. You don't need to see me. I like the gray background here behind me. It's like I'm in jail or something. I've been rocking this gray background for years and just haven't changed it because I'm doing so much other stuff and I don't consider it a priority. I have some things that I would want to put in the background, but I can't find them. So it's just going to stay that way. It is what it is, dude. You just need, get to see me talking and look at the stuff on the screen. Don't look at the background. But that's what people always focus on in like whether it's a stream or a Zoom call or whatever. A lot of times they're not looking at you, they're looking at all the shit in your background. So it's just the way it is. And I think the more stuff you have in your background, the more things people are looking at. So for me, who has nothing in the background, I guess you can look at me, but you know, most people being self-conscious, they don't want you to look at them anyway. So it is what it is, whatever. I'm not really here to talk about that. I'm here to talk about some Java history and facts. Got together a nice slideshow for y'all, and let's hit it. Learn you on some Java history. And there's still nobody in this stream, so I'm talking to a screen. Let's go. So Java. This is the dude with Java. I realized I need to get something else, so I'm going to take a minute to do that. Of course, nobody's watching anyway, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, it's a cool thing about streaming. You can just kind of, especially when you're new and nobody's watching, you can just kind of crap out and chill out. I can take a nap and wake up and see who's on the stream after that. But I'm not tired enough to take a nap. I save that for later on. I actually haven't taken a nap in a long time, like years. I don't do naps. I just, you know, if I don't get enough sleep or I'm tired or whatever, I just go to bed earlier. I think that's a better way to handle it, to stay more consistent, you know? Java, Java, Java. All right, let us dig into this Java history stuff, shall we? Now, got a dude right here. This is James Gosling, and he is credited with being the creator of Java, although he led a team at Sun Microsystems in the creation of Java. And early on, it wasn't called Java. It was called something I can't remember, and then it was called Oak, and it was called Java much closer to its release. So Java is actually a name given to it later in the development, in terms of like it was either like just released or about to be released when they started to call it Java. So like during the run up and like the real idea phase, it wasn't called Java, but that's how it was. So it was conceived way back in '91 by the team and Mr. Gosling, and it was originally intended to be to really drive embedded systems like smart devices. Like they always give the example of cable boxes, where they would put these into cable boxes, and but it could be, I'm sure they had ideas for many different things, really like the way things are now when you think about the fact that, operating systems and code is in, refrigerators and cars and, like personal assistants like Alexa and really everything. Well, they had this idea to use Java for stuff like that. And it really didn't happen because they were too early. There's such a thing as being too innovative, where your ideas are ahead, where they're like a ways ahead. They're like 20 years ahead of where the actual industry was. Like maybe, let's say 5-10 years ago, if Java came on the scene to drive embedded devices, maybe, it would have been huge in that realm. But like, nearly 40 years ago in 91, like, it just wasn't, the devices weren't ready. The companies weren't ready to have code running inside their devices. So it's just, and the internet it didn't have the steam. Actually, it wasn't even commercially adopted at that point back in 91. So like a big driver for embedded devices is internet connection, like network connectivity. And back then it wouldn't have had that. Like, so yeah, long story short, the world wasn't ready for code in devices really. So they shifted focus. They shifted into really web, because web browsers were kind of the driver, the technology driver back then, where the commercial viability of the World Wide Web was heating up, and people viewed the web, or people viewed the internet through browsers primarily. Like nowadays, browsers are they're kind of one facet of how you look at the internet, because there's all these apps and things. But back then, it was you connected via dial-up, and many times you went into a browser, and that was your entire internet experience. So anyway, they adapted Java to work in browsers, and they created this technology called the applet, which is really a Java application that can run inside of a web browser, and it was huge. It really took over the technology world, where web pages before were kind of static and just like, it was just like reading a newspaper. But these Java applets allowed for multimedia like sound and video and games and stuff embedded in the browser. And yeah, nowadays it seems like, old news, but back then the shit was dope. Like it was just not seen before. So Java really ushered in that web app kind of idea. And so it took off and it got huge. I got a little ahead of myself there, but look at this next slide. Yeah, so the project became Java later on, like when it was close to release in 95. So like from 91 to 95, they worked on this thing, and now it gets released in 95 with the name Java. And they shifted from putting it in devices to putting it in the web browser. And so the applet idea was helpful with its popularity. And also, an important thing that's still around today is the concept of the JVM, which is the Java Virtual Machine. See, Java is a language that is platform independent, and it runs on this kind of middleman software called the Java Virtual Machine, where the code runs on top of this and does not directly interface with the underlying operating system. And this was a huge shift back in the day, because really before Java, most programming languages interface with the operating system directly. Java put a layer in between so that its code interfaces with the Java Virtual Machine, making it platform independent. So Java code that you wrote, you could run on any operating system without modification. And the thing was write once, run anywhere. So that was the thing with Java. So it gained popularity because the applet and the Java virtual machine concept, and Java still requires a Java virtual machine to run today. So yeah, Java was the hot shit for a long time, and then other web technologies caught up. And when other ways were found to do what applets do, they ended up being better and faster than applets, and applets were found to be very insecure. See, the early days of the internet was also a time when the whole there was a lot of malicious activity, because like really in the early part of the 2000s we became hooked up to the internet continuously, like all the time. Like you didn't just dial up and dial out to disconnect. You were connected all the time, like we are today. And once we were always on the internet, a lot of more threats came in because it was just open season, because people could just hammer away and try out all their stuff and be connected all the time. But anyway, so what was I saying? There was a lot of applets were exposed because they were insecure, and so yeah, where was I? I got distracted by something over here. The overall idea is that the newer web technologies kind of were better than applets, and applets were exposed as being insecure. And so applets went away, like, maybe 10, 15 years ago. Applets were no more. And if you're a modern Java programmer, maybe in the last 5 years, you never even heard of applets. Like, I was introduced to Java through the applet, and people today, they have no idea what an applet is. So it's kind of interesting to think about. But applets were everywhere back in, 2002, 2003, or whatever. It's kind of like a time capsule, But anyway, so, but Java's future was certain already, because you throw away the applet, Java had already entrenched itself in the enterprise with the J2EE, Java 2 Enterprise Edition. It is like it's a set of APIs and stuff, classes, really to do back-end, server-side, enterprise stuff. That's a short way to talk about it. But it's huge and large enterprise, big business, web back-end stuff. J2EE runs a lot of that stuff, and it was widely adopted, so, Java was not going anywhere. When you get those the big people into you, you're going to stay. Where the money goes, interest flows, right? And also Java was chosen early in the Android OS's development. So when Android was being developed at Google, after Google acquired Android, the company, so to speak, or the technology, they decided on Java as the app development language because it was had a huge programmer base, so they wanted to port that into Java. And once Java was joined with the Android OS, popularity surged again. Java's not going anywhere because Android, it's still a primary development language for Android, and Android's like the most widely used operating system in the world, with all the devices all the devices basically that run Android. Android used to run on Fire Sticks. I don't think it does anymore, but like it's all over the damn place. And Java, you can develop apps using Java for that. Also, Kotlin is the language as well, meant to be a replacement for Java and Android OS, but yeah, it is what it is. All right, let's move on after those little hiccups there. I lost my train of thought there. So Sun Microsystems developed Java, and then Sun was acquired by Oracle in 2010. Oracle, it's been tighter and more litigious than Sun. Oracle sued Google. Just talked about Google using Java as a Android development language. Well, Oracle sued Google over like I don't remember what it was, Java or not Java. Google may have used some proprietary code from the Java libraries in Android or something like that. And anyway, there was a big case, and I don't remember what happened, or I don't know if I ever knew, but they sued them over the use of Java. Java is still being used as the app development language in Android, but Sun probably never would have done that. A point here is that Oracle is kind of tight, corporate, buttoned up. Sun was more of a hacker culture. So you saw how James Gosling looked. Like that's not really a corporate look, kind of like an old school hacker. So like different kind of companies. Now Java's in the control of Oracle, and like its future is going to be a little bit tighter. I think it's kind of weird to have a language under the control of a corporation anyway, but that's kind of strange, I think. But they do get developed at corporations, but usually they'll become open standards, later on. But here, Java is not completely an open standard because it's, under the control of Oracle. Anyway, that's the landscape. So if you want to look up, anything you get Java related, like downloading development kits and executables, whatever Java related documentation is going to come from Oracle. So that's that. All right, let's keep it moving here. How is this stuff used today? How's Java used today? Java is in Android, like I said, and a lot of back-end stuff. Web apps on the server side, enterprise backend, Jakarta EE, which is now J2EE turned into Jakarta EE. And then we have Spring Boot, we have cloud stuff, big data, financial technology. Java it's in a lot of back-end stuff, basically. So it's Android and the back-end. That's kind of, if you want to sum it up as far as where Java is used today. It's used in plenty of other places too, but like the big boys it's Android and a bunch of different back-end technologies. Java is not used much in user interface design, not front end. It is definitely back end, so on and so forth. And that's pretty much the history of Java wrapped up in 15 minutes with a little stumble in there, but it's all good. Let me give you some quick hits, some quick points on Java. It's hard to really sum up the whole Java thing in 20 minutes or so, but hey, let's do it. Java, it does require a Java virtual machine to run its code. Like, it's not, you can't, you sort of can, but I guess you could say natively, you can't really make Java executables to run on a certain operating system. It's more you create what are called class files, and they'll run via the Java virtual machine, and the Java virtual machine will interface with your operating system to actually run the code. So it requires a JVM to run, and a lot of the popular IDEs today, they'll use a JVM automatically in the background, so you won't even know that it's happening, but they're using one. Like IntelliJ, Eclipse, VS Code, they're using JVMs, but you just don't see it. If you really kind of dig in the guts there, you'll find out where they are. The hell is that? It's all a flicker over there. But the JVM is definitely there. So, having said that, talking about the IDEs, you can actually, I don't know how widely this is done today, but you can run Java in a bare bones kind of environment. And I'm going to take you through that a little bit here, where you can compose a Java source in plain text, and then you can compile it yourself into a .class file, and then you can run the file yourself using tools gotten via the Java, what is it called? The Java Development Kit. You can get the Java Development Kit from Oracle. It'll have all the tools you need. These are all command line utilities to be able to really compose and run Java code on your system without an IDE. So, like, really old school. This is how I learned to actually write in Java. I would just open a text editor, write the Java code, save it, run it with the command, or compile it with the command prompt, and then run it with the command prompt. I'm going to show you that process here in a few minutes. Kind of school you on some old school stuff, because I don't think a lot of newbies are compiling via the command prompt. So take you back a little bit to 2000, 2001. So structurally, Java code is object-oriented entirely. I didn't really get into this, but Java is an object-oriented programming language, and it is OOP to its core, in that, like, you cannot create Java code without creating a class. So, like, everything in Java is in a class, and a class is like a unit in object-oriented programming. And I'm not going to get into the ins and outs of that. That's another session. Maybe I'll do a show on OOP, but not today. I'm just going to use it, and I'm going to keep the topic on Java. And those are my quick points, I think. Yeah. That's it, my ninjas. So what I'm going to actually do now is I'm going to show you the process to actually go ahead and write Java code in a text editor, go old school, and compile it via the command prompt and run it via the command prompt. Going to use Notepad++, I think, because I want to be super dope. Better than Notepad, right? Oh, whoops. Something weird is going on. What? Gotta straighten out my interface here. Trying to see why I can't extend it like out here. Alright, well, at least you can see the whole window. I'm new to this streaming stuff. Let's see how big the text is. Oh, that's pretty good. That's alright. Not bad. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. Just want to make sure everybody can see it no matter what device you're on, so I'm gonna make it huge. So here's how you have to begin a Java file. Every Java file has to have a every Java file has to have a class defined within it. Well, that's not completely correct, but I guess you could say it has to have a class or an interface, or it has to be packaged in an object-oriented unit. I'll say that. For the most part, you have to have a class in your file. And then to have a runnable Java app, especially a text-based Java app, you need to have a main method. And there's my main method. And all the code I'm going to write is going to go in the main method. I'm just going to do some silly shit just to have some code saved, and then I'm going to show you how to run this, or how to compile it and run it via the command prompt in Windows. Yeah, it's going to be silly. It's just going to say something over and over again. Level up. Gotta promote myself, right? Let's go. Alright, there's your basic Java file. Just a loop. It's gonna print my message over and over again. And so what I gotta do is I have to save this as a .java file, and we've got a folder to save it in. Find that folder here. And so I'm not going to save it as a text file. I'm going to save it as and the thing with Java is that generally when you save the file, you've got to save it as its name has to be the same name as your main class. Like this, my main class is level up. The file name has got to be level up. They've got to match. It's a Java thing. And I'm going to save it in this code folder. And now you see it's saved. From here, operations go to the command prompt, because I'm going to use the Windows command prompt to navigate to this file, to compile it, and then to run it. So I'm going to open the command prompt here and drag it over. There's my command prompt. I think you guys can see that. And in Windows, actually in operating systems, there's this thing called a path, where like the path kind of defines where you look to execute commands, or where the operating system looks to execute commands. And like the executables to do the compiling and the running of Java code from the command prompt, you download them from Oracle and you put them in a certain spot. Well, Windows needs to know where to find that spot, so you have to add them to your path to let Windows know, here is where, when I typed this command, here is where it is. I've already done that, so whenever I open the command prompt, the commands are going to be available, but when you open your command prompt, generally these commands aren't going to work. So you'll have to figure out how to change your path. I'm not going to go over that, but just know that it's not going to work for you the same way unless you've done what I've done to add the Java executables to your path. With that, I'm going to navigate to where this Java file is. If I remember, I think it's on that drive, and I'm going to do some listening here. Let's see. You know what? I'm going to kind of shortcut it, and I'm going to get the path in Explorer and then copy it, because it's right here. And you see my level up.java. That's the file that I just wrote, and I'm going to copy. So here we go. I'm just going to CD into that. And I'm there. Let's see. Yeah. Okay, so the command to compile Java, really .java file into a class file, it's a program called javac or javac, or however you want to say it. You do javac and then you do level up .java. This should create a file with the same name but a .class file extension. Unless there's an error. If there's an error, like in the code, it's going to tell me. And I saw nothing, which means that it probably compiled successfully. To be able to check to see if it did, I am going to do a directory listing, and I see that my .class file is there. Now this .class file is runnable. I can run this .class file by launching the Java virtual machine. Now how do I do that? There is another executable called Java appropriately that will allow me to launch the Java virtual machine and run a class file. Here's how it works. Java, and then the name of your class file. And actually, what you do there is you just give the name of the class, not .class, because it looks for a class file with that name. And so, and there we go. I ran it with the Java executable, and that went ahead and ran my code. You see that it did the whole, it did the for loop, and it printed out. There we go. And that's how you can compose with the text file or in a text editor, compile it, and run it via the command prompt. Don't ever say I didn't teach you nothing. And now we're going to go to the now we're going to go to the coding portion of. Actually, I just did code, right? Like, it was simple shit, but like, I did some code, but I'm going to go to the deeper coding section of the show. I'm kind of losing my train of thought here. And we're going to go into Code Wars and do some code. It's that time, folks. Or the one folk who is here. Who's out there, by the way? Say something in the chat. But yeah, I'm going to Code Wars now. And I'm going to do Java, because this is the Java episode. Alright, where are my exercises? Yeah. I'm going to do a shorter one. I'm going to do one that I've done in Python already, and I'm going to do it in Java. Yeah, I guess you could say it's kind of a cheat because I know the algorithm already, but hey, live TV, folks. It's easier for me to do live if I've already done it in another language, right? And so I'm going to change the language to Java and gonna copy this into there. Whoop. Yeah, I think the YouTube. Yeah, I gave you a jacked up link. Let me see if I can delete that. Yep, redact that. Delete that shit, homie. Try it again. I'm gonna test my link for awesomeness. Okay, yeah, that totally works. All right. basically we're given a list. In this case, really an array list in Java. Given an array list, and we need to remove all elements that are not greater than or equal to the element before it. That's really what it is. And you don't copy to another array list. You're going to remove them in place, which means you're going to delete, and then things are going to shift over. That's the idea with this one. It's a pretty simple idea. I guess we already got that list. I'll need to create a list. So I can start at 1 and then less than the size. What am I doing? Really, if it's not greater than or equal to, you are removing, so you're not going to do that. No, I'm going to remove by element, not by value. By index, not by value. You remove it, and then I'm going to do our indexing trick. So I don't return anything. Yeah, it says at the bottom here, because we're modifying it in place, you don't return anything. So yeah, it's a void. This might be it. Don't remember anything else. Alright, so it passes the basic tests. And it passes those extended tests. So this is it. Yeah. Yeah, it's a pretty easy one. Everything is easy if you know what you're doing, right? If you don't, it's some other. Ollie Oxenfree. Anybody out there? Nope, doesn't look like it. All right, I want to move on here. I'm going to check out one that I got stuck on last time. That guys were helping me with. take a look at my code here. Coding is often a silent pursuit, right? Because you're doing a lot of thinking. a big integer. Alright, so here, this is going to be a big int. So we have S and we have a Z. So Z is going to have the big integer argument, so I've got to change it up there. Get this out isolated, dude. What's up here? Nice, we have big integer input and output. Big integer, it's like I'm trying to eliminate the longs and just use big integer everywhere. All right. It's timing out. too slow. But it's actually, it's correct if it's not too slow, so that's good. So realistically, for the really big numbers, it is failing. So I gotta turn this loop into a formula instead. That's what it is. That's why it's so dang slow. Yeah, I'm learning a little bit about big integer. Big integer. All right, let's run this. Startup type, return sum. All right, what do I got here? Yeah, I got to jack something up. To delete this. All right, so that actually works. So So this is kind of, I cheated on this one. Used AI to really take my logic and put it into a formula instead of using a loop, because I didn't know, and I got it to help me with the big integer syntax, which I didn't know. So I kind of got part of the way on my own, and I did AI to do a little bit of the rest. But it's good because I learned quite a bit here in this one, where some of the usage of the big integer, and I realized that like with this one I had to do big integer from the start. What I was trying to do last week was convert things to a big integer at the end, which you can't do that. It's got to be a big integer throughout the entire calculation. You're going to take it in as an integer and do all the calculation with big integer, which is, it's tough. I would assume that a lot of people don't have exposure to big integer, so a little bit different. But the explanation, of course, is in the exercise. If you want to see the explanation here, I'm not going to go over it, but I was able to get it done. I put a lot of work into the stuff, but like really AI helped me solve it, so it's not a complete victory. But I did learn. And this is really about mathematical functions, where you create a function and then you put that function inside of another function, and then you run a number through that and get a result. And the numbers that you get are going to be really big. They're going to be way bigger than the numbers you input. Your outputs are going to be way larger than your inputs. Yeah, like looking at alright, what the hell? You know, lost my code? Yep, you lost my code, damn it. Oh. And it didn't even save it. That's crazy, man. Yeah. It's like the code is gone. Oh, I'm not typing it up again. Right. Oh, now the solution's here. Okay. Dope. But anyway, yeah, you look at the inputs versus the outputs. They're big. Like 100 is going to turn into this monster. So it's like you run a function and then you put that function inside of another function, and it's just like this. There's a lot going on. If you don't have any idea what I'm talking about, once you read the instructions for this one, you'll see sort of what I'm talking about. It's a pretty good exercise, but today is the Java episode, but I would encourage you to do it in a language like Python, where you're not dealing with this weird data type, and you can just focus on the algorithm. And I guess another thing with this is that the looping solution is not going to work. And I'm sure in Python, if you try to do these functions with a loop, it's going to time out. So you got to use the formula instead of the loop to do, or formulas instead of the loops to do these. Yeah. And I'm going to wrap it up here. Really not getting any interaction. I don't think people have, I don't know if anybody's even on the stream right now. And haven't had a lot of people in, so nothing to talk about if there's nobody to talk to about it. Yeah. Hello there, Newman. How's it going this fine Monday? I think it is Monday. It's Monday here. I don't know if it's Monday where you are, because other days it could be, other places it could be other days. Where are you watching from, Newman? It's Monday. So here it's a little after 8 p.m. Can't say the country. Then I know which country it is if you can't say it. Early morning, yeah. So you're just getting your day started. Did you get a workout in yet? Did you do some running or lift some weights or something? You got your coffee? Yeah, this is like Leak Code, but it's better than Leak Code. Maybe not in terms of difficulty, but it's better, I think, in terms of like it's funner and there's more variation to these exercises than Leak Code. But it's like Leak Code, yeah. Same idea. It's training and coding skills using exercises, yes. Exercise. This particular exercise is kind of confusing, so I'm going to click out of this one. So now that I have some interaction, I'm going to continue. I'm going to do one more exercise and then call it here an evening. In that unnamed Asian country, it's a morning. Yeah. Yeah, Code Wars is dope, man. It's as you can see, you look at me up here. I've done a lot on this. This is like the points you get for you get a few points for each exercise you solve, and this is like the total points that I have. And if you look at my my profile here, you see that like here started in 22. Obviously, we know what it is now. So it's a cool site. Getting close to the next rank. The ranks go from 8 is the lowest and 1 is the highest. And so I'm getting closer to 2. I'm at 3 right now. Yeah, let me get one more in here. You don't need to think about following me on Code Wars. That's not a big deal, because I just go in there to do the coding. You can subscribe to the channel on YouTube. That would be cool. But the following on Code Wars, you don't need to think about that. It always seems like I don't get anybody joining the stream until I start coding in Code Wars. Like earlier, I was doing a presentation and there was nobody watching. So, but all these streams are recorded, so you can check out the recording of my presentation later. This is also one I've done already, so I'll be able to do it pretty quickly, but oh well. I haven't done it in Java though. I did it in Python before. The MIT algorithm course, cool. So me being live was like off on the side somewhere. You saw I was live, so I was like, you wanted to check it out? Cool. Yeah, I'm actually here, every Monday at 7 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, which is really sort of right now. Well, it's nearly an hour and a half after 7 p.m., but obviously I'm still here. But yeah, like this time every Monday, I'm going to be doing this one. This is my third one. Yeah, third episode. I'm doing these as like show episodes. It's called Level Up the Coding Show. I do presentation segments and I do some coding exercises and discuss them with whoever shows up. Sounds good. Just trying to spread the love of programming and build a network, meet some people, and go from there and see where the journey takes us. Well, thanks a lot, my friend. Definitely here to motivate and educate and learn. Like there's been some streams where guys have been in here and I'm doing an exercise and they give me a tip that like I didn't know about, so it's cool to kind of have that where they'll give me a snippet of code or whatever that an idea that I didn't have and plug plug it right in and actually kind of collaborating on these on some of these exercises. All right. Yes, thanks for the positive notes. It's always good to get some feedback and just like a little bit of motivation, right? Just talking to the next person and being like, hey man, keep going, let's go. It's part of the reason I'm here. All right, so I'm going to do this one and I'm going to return an integer, so any of the number of breaches. So I generally don't bother reading through the instructions to you guys. You guys can kind of read them on your own, and I guess I'm doing enough talking. So I don't want to like read through these because you can just read through them yourself. Sometimes I will. But you get an array, and then you get two integers, and each element of the array is a hacker attempt, and if the hacker attempt is greater than the security level, which is one of the integers, if it's greater than the security level, that's a breach. And if it's not greater, then the security will increase by the number to increase it by, and then you just go to the next element, because really you're looping through this element. Sorry, what the hell am I saying? You're looping through this array, and you're comparing each element to the security level. And if it's greater, if the element is greater, it's a breach. If the element is not greater, this number will increase by the second integer. So if you follow that, then you're in. If not, read the instructions yourself. And we could just do a neat little standard for loop on this jump. Hackers. So Newman, what languages do you use typically? This is the Java episode, so I'm doing only Java today. And it is an array. So it's greater than security, it's a breach, right? And when you block, the security increases, right? Yeah, security stays the same when there is a breach. So when there's a breach, you just increase. If there's not a breach, you're going to increase the security level. Increase. Okay, so C. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, there's still a hell of a lot of C use out there where, of course, C is an older language, and it's kind of like, there are some archaic pieces of C kind of corrected in C++, but like there's still a wide base of C usage out there. I need to brush up on C, actually. I used to use it a lot more, really maybe decades ago, but don't use it that much now. It's more like I use Python, Java, C++, and that's almost it in the modern day. You use C# a little bit, but it's sparing, really. So you just increase the breaches. Like, is there? I always feel like I'm forgetting something, and I think I need to return, of course, the number of breaches. I think if there's not a breach, you just increase the level, and like that's it. All right. Sounds like somebody's rustling downstairs. What's going on? I know you guys didn't hear that. Security, is it spelled wrong or what? Security level. Yeah. Index 4. Oh, what the hell am I doing here? Less than or equal to. It's a ridiculous mistake. Ridiculous. Alright, that one's passed. Yeah, this is an exercise that's easier than it looks. It's one of those. It's like it's got like a decent explanation, a decent amount of explanation, but like it's easier than you would think. Like it's a cupcake joint. Yeah, I think with the languages, I think you pick a few and you go with them. Like you gotta ride with them. Like I don't think you should try to do like 10, 15 languages. Maybe pick 3 or 4 and ride with them, because I think getting good at one language is difficult, but you can't isolate to one language these days because of the wide landscape. Back in the day, you could actually get by with knowing one language. Like maybe 1998 or something, you could get by with one language. But in the modern day, if you don't know more than one language, you're almost unemployable as a programmer. Like you got to spread it out. Yeah, I mean, you may find a job using one language, but to really be able to like maximize and get out there and have a lot of opportunities, you need to know a few. Just to be adaptable, really, because so many different kinds of platforms that like you want to be adaptable to be able to do projects on these different platforms, and the different languages are the key. It would be cool if there was just one language that worked on everything. I think we'd really be able to see who the best programmers are in that case, and I think it would be cool. But it isn't that way. Yeah, these days I think AI is just going to be like it's going to be the workhorse in a project where like AI is going to do most of the work, and it's going to be you're going to be like a puppet master with AI, where you're going to tell it what to do and kind of massage it here and there and kind of clean up the solutions, and like you're going to be working with AI, but it's going to do most of the work. So I think coding knowledge is still going to be a thing, but it's like coding knowledge integrated with usage of AI. That's going to be the thing where large project teams might go away. It's going to be more like smaller teams or even individuals utilizing AI, because somebody's still got to tell AI what to do, like be the manager. So creativity still counts, and building relationships and things like that still counts. So focus on the things that AI cannot do, like good ideas and how things fit together, and there's some other things that I'm not going to get into, but yeah, there will still be a need for a human expert for a long, long time. But yeah, a lot of stuff's going away. Like, it's just the way it is. We got to adapt. We are adaptation machines as humans. So we're actually built to adapt. So it's good. And actually, our minds are built for adapting very well. We're not well suited physically for adaptation, but our minds can adapt pretty damn quickly compared to other organisms. like you could change your mindset in like, a week or two, and it'd be locked into something else like pretty quickly. So, a dog can't do that. A dog is locked in to what it's doing. Like its programming is not going to change very much. Like you can tweak it a little bit, but the dog is the dog. It's going to do dog stuff. It's a beautiful note to end on. Yeah. All right, I'm going to bounce out of here. It's time to move on. It's here in the East Coast of the United States. It's a little after 8:30. Got to do some things tonight. Always got stuff on the plate and whatnot, literally and figuratively. So I got this one done. I think I'm gonna submit it. And so this has been the Java episode, and I went over Java earlier, so I'm going to hearing stuff. I'm going to I'm not going to do anything. Once this is over, it's going to save into my on my channel. So if you want to see the whole episode, it'll be there with all the other episodes of Level Up the Coding Show. This is the third one, so you can watch the earlier ones. That's it. It's hard to know how to end these things and how to begin them. But this is it. But thanks for that note, elaborating on things well. Yeah. I've been teaching online for about 4 years, so I've kind of learned to talk about this stuff. Yeah. So I developed that little skill. And so, you have a good night as well, or actually a good day as well, out there in some unnamed country. So maybe I'll see you back here next week. But once a week I'll do these for now and see how it goes. But with that, my friend and my friends, I am out, and I'll catch you next week.